It began with tragedy. In 1957, in the quiet town of Hexham, England, something unimaginable happened. Two young sisters, Joanna and Jacqueline Pollock, were killed in a car accident. They were young, full of life, inseparable, and gone in an instant. Their parents, James and Florence Pollock, were devastated. The house felt hollow. Joanna and Jacqueline's shoes still sat by the door. Their toys were still tucked into corners of the living room. Their laughter, once constant, was suddenly gone. Every room carried reminders of what had been lost. And yet, despite the grief, time continued to move forward, indifferent and relentless. Almost a year later, something unexpected happened. Florence became pregnant again, and when the day came, she did not give birth to one child but to twins. They named the girls Gillian and Jennifer. At first, there was nothing unusual about them. They were small, fragile, quiet babies, growing exactly as babies should. To anyone outside the family, they seemed like a second chance, a fragile attempt at healing after unbearable loss. But as the girls grew older, small cracks began to appear in what should have been an ordinary childhood. By the age of 2, Gillian began speaking in ways that made her parents stop and stare. Not babbling, not imagination, but clear statements spoken with confidence about things she should not have known. She talked about toys that no longer existed in the house. She described hiding places no one had shown her. She mentioned private family moments that had happened years before she was born. And then, one day she said something that froze the room completely. She said she was Joanna. She said she had died. And she said she had come back. Florence tried to remain rational. Children overhear things. Children imagine. Perhaps Gillian had picked up fragments of conversations. Perhaps grief was filling in the gaps. She told herself there had to be an explanation. But then Jennifer, the quieter twin, began saying the same things. Not prompted, not coached, independently. Jennifer named friends from Joanna and Jacqueline's lives. She spoke about games the older girls had played, repeating rules and routines with eerie accuracy. She corrected her parents when they got small details wrong. And when Gillian said something about the past, Jennifer often nodded or added details of her own. As the twins grew older, the strangeness deepened. Gillian cried for toys that had belonged to Joanna, toys she had never been shown. She insisted on wearing clothes that had once been Jacqueline's favorites. She displayed habits, gestures, and emotional reactions that matched the deceased sisters with unsettling precision. Jennifer, though younger and more reserved, quietly reinforced these memories, as if the past was shared knowledge between them. It was no longer just the parents noticing. Neighbors began asking questions. Friends grew uneasy. Visitors would leave the house shaken after hearing the girls speak. Researchers and psychologists took interest, offering explanations ranging from coincidence to subconscious influence. But every theory struggled with the same problem. The details were too specific. Gillian knew things she could never have been told. Jennifer confirmed them independently. It was as if the past had not stayed buried, as if something had survived death, slipped through time, and quietly re-entered the world through 2 new lives. Decades later, the story of the Pollock twins remains one of the most compelling and controversial cases of possible reincarnation ever documented. It forces uncomfortable questions into the open, questions about memory, identity, and whether consciousness truly ends with death. And so the story lingers, in the town of Hexham, in the memories of those who witnessed it firsthand, and in the minds of anyone who hears it and realizes that some mysteries refuse to fade. Tragedy gave way to something far more unsettling than grief. Life returned, not cleanly, not neatly, but in fragments. And even now, the Pollock twins stand as a haunting reminder that some stories don't come with explanations, and some lives may not end where we think they do. If you liked this video and want more unhinged but true stories, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel.